Hey everybody, how are you doing? Grandpa's Cabin Life on Instagram and YouTube. We're out here on an early March day, a little bit overcast, had some heavy rain overnight. A little chilly this morning, high 40s probably. So anyway, I wanted to touch on a little bit more about maple syruping. I did pull all the taps yesterday. Again, I only did 4 trees. Normally, I only usually do about 5. I'm only making sap for the family and for my wife and I. And I have some bottles to give away. And in general, it takes about 8 gallons of sap from a maple tree or a birch tree. You can do either. To generate about, figure, a normal bottle of syrup that you would buy off the shelf. So again, only did 4 trees. Actually, no, only 2 trees with 4 taps. So very small setup. You will see people who literally tap hundreds of trees, and they have their own sheds with their own cooking setup to boil down the syrup, or I should say the sap, into syrup. Mine is probably going to be a disappointment. It's much, much smaller. Literally, what I have is, which is, again, that's the 5 gallon Home Depot bucket that I collect into. Again, you'll find some setups that have the metal buckets with the metal tap. I don't like using those. I just find a lot of times insects or debris gets into the buckets. So I prefer to use the field grade or cooking tubing that you saw me use into the 5 gallon buckets. Cuts down really on a lot of issues. And so what you can see here, it's literally a propane tank going to the propane cooker, a lot like you would have if you fry your turkeys. And that is just a stainless steel chafing dish. What I will generally do the first round of cooking, I will do outdoors because this generates a lot of moisture. Again, you're cooking down the sap, which is basically sugar water, to concentrate the sugars. And that gives you that brown, syrupy maple syrup that you end up with at the end. So I'll usually cook down the sap until there's about an inch left in this stainless steel chafing dish. I will then bring it inside, put it into a pot, and again, I'm straining it when I pour it out of this chafing dish into the pot to get rid of any debris or any sediment that may have built up in the cook down process. I'll also strain it one more time when I am transferring the final product into the bottles. Again, when you're boiling the last bit down inside, a couple things to keep in mind. Again, a couple things to keep in mind when you do the transfer into the house. Again, I'm going to filter what was in the pan to get at any impurities or any materials that may have fallen in during the cooking. When you are boiling it indoors, you want to make sure you have your cooking vent, your overhead stove vent or side fan, whatever, going. This still will generate a lot of moisture, which I have had actually peel wallpaper off. One of the years I did it and didn't have the fan going. You also have to watch it very closely because it can cook down very fast, and it can go from just really starting to boil down and concentrate to literally bubbling over and cooking into an almost solid black mass, which is almost impossible to get out of the pots. Everybody that's made maple syrup has done that at least once. So closely watch it as you're cooking down to the final product. I will then strain it again as I am putting it into the maple syrup bottles. A good guideline to know when it's done is I take a spoon and dip it in, and if it sort of hangs there on the spoon and slowly drips off, you're probably just about that sweet spot to go ahead and get it ready to bottle. Couple points. We were talking the other day with the video when I was actually out at the tree showing you the taps and talking about, is it the end of syruping season? So we talked about temperatures into the 50s. We talked about a change in the coloration of what's coming out. I did cook down a batch after some days in the 50s. It was a little off color, and it's also late in the season. The trees are already getting ready to pop leaves. A couple of the other signs that you're done with the season, other than the trees starting to pop with their buds, you'll hear the peepers out. That usually is one of the hallmarks, nature's hallmark of the end of the season. You'll also start to see ants around your taps and around your collection bucket. That's also sort of another tell. And then you'll see a change in coloration of what's coming out of the tree. If you dip your finger in, you notice it's not as sugary as it was earlier in the season. And again, in the Northeast where I am, mid-January through the end of February. Sometimes you could squeeze out into March depending upon the temperatures. You want it to be below freezing at night and then in the 40s, low 40s during the day. That's usually prime sapping time. Again, not a good year this year, and it wasn't just me. I've gotten that same feedback from a lot of the individuals on some of the maple syrup making groups that I follow on Facebook. Pretty much all around a bad season. I'm not sure if there's a cyclical nature to it. Again, we did have really, really cold weather and then really, really warm weather, so that could have affected it. I don't know if it's very similar to the maples with, with the oaks with acorn production. You'll have some really amazing mast years where they're producing large amounts of acorns and then a dearth of acorn production for several years. So I don't know if there's a cyclical nature. I really haven't followed it or paid attention enough to it. But again, your setup does not have to be involved. It can be super simple like I have here. If you have a big fire pit, you can do the cooking out over the fire pit. This year, again, I ended up with 3 bottles of syrup, actually 4, because I really cut down on the amount of trees I tapped, and the flow was not great. That's fine. That'll last us for this whole year until next year's maple syrup season. But again, I use propane. I'm probably going to switch to using the fire pit because I spent way, way more on propane than I got out of maple syrup, but it's still really more about the fun of actually doing it. So yeah, season's over for now. You can find all the materials to do your own maple sap recovery and then maple syrup making. Amazon has kits that are available. Amazon has the food grade cooking tubing that you can use. It has the taps. It has booklets, so you can buy the entire kit, have everything you need shipped straight to your door from Amazon to get you started. Super simple. As we get closer to sapping season for next year, I'll do a video to show you exactly how to do the taps. Again, it's really, really easy. Anybody could do this. All you need are the maple trees or birch trees to tap. So thanks for tuning in. Instagram and YouTube, Grandpa's Cabin Life. This video is going to be going up on both of them. Going to be working on a new book starting this summer. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a future video. Again, A Cabin in 40 Acres available. Amazon, wherever books are sold. Archway Publishing is my publisher. You can get it through their book website as well. If you do buy the book, please take a couple minutes. Wherever you bought it, go back, leave a review, especially if you liked it. If you didn't like it, yeah, you can keep that to yourself. But greatly appreciated if you get out there and do a review of the book. All right, hope you all have a great day. Weekend's almost upon us, so you only got only one more day between now and the weekend. So hang in there. And again, enjoy. Good talking to you.